So last week I ran a marathon and it didn't really go to plan. So this week I'm doing a video on recovering after a marathon. I think this one's going to plan. Okay, so October 2022, Dublin Marathon. I get about 10 or 11 miles in and I just know it's not happening. There is pain going through my body, but ultimately I'm just absolutely wrecked from going out too fast. And I knew from then on that run was just going to be torture, and it was. Like, I finished a marathon, I dropped about 15 minutes. I was going out for a 3:30 marathon, ended up 3:46. Fast forward to 2 weekends ago in Manchester, I really feel that I went out at the right pace. In fact, for a couple of months before, I was wondering, was I in sub 3 shape? I decided to go somewhere between 3:05 and 3:10, but I believe I went out at the right pace, and I've got some sort of an injury going on in my right leg, which is actually just very minimal. It just, over a period of time on the marathon, it got really sore and ultimately my legs just gave up. But what I want to tell you is, after that Dublin Marathon, the next day I woke up and I was just so frustrated, so disappointed. I wanted to get back into training. I wanted to get this 3:30 done. I couldn't wait to do my next marathon, and I just went straight back into training again. I was running, my coach had gave me, like, say, a mile to do a few days later. I was out doing 5 miles. I was doing 5 miles every day. I was pushing the pace, and I actually felt quite burnt out a couple of weeks later. And you know what? I've got a similar disappointment this time, but I think I've learned from this. Like, an injury can come at any point in time. Different things can happen on a marathon day. The weather could be bad. You could just have an off day. Like, that's okay. The sad thing is, a disappointing thing is, that it could be another 6 months or it could be another year before you're doing your next marathon, and I just have to accept that, I suppose. But one thing I will do, which I have learned from this experience, is I will edge my training back in again. I didn't run this week at all because that leg has just been quite sore. It's just there. I can feel something. I wouldn't say, like, I'm not limping anymore, it's just, I just know there's an injury there. I ran 2 miles on Saturday morning, really super slow, like, I mean 12 minutes per mile or something. I was out with my wife and kids, and we stopped and started a wee bit too, and I actually felt grand. I went out yesterday again and I done 5 miles at, I would say, slightly steady pace, just to see how things would go. And today I'm back on 4 miles again. I'm just going to spend this next week edging back in and being sensible about it. Can't believe I've actually got this baby to sleep while I'm talking into the camera. She was absolutely wrecked. Anyway, there has been many things I've learned over the 5 marathons. I'm not an experienced marathon runner. I've ran 5, like, I've been running for 3 years, but this is just some key takeaways, I would say, from what I've learned over the last number of years. I believe I'm a fast learner. I know that from even being in photography. Like, whenever I first became a photographer, I learned things really quickly, and I was just checking that mic was on. I'm not telling you what to do here. This is just some things that I've learned over 5 marathons, over 3 years of making mistakes. I've really only had 1 successful marathon, if you want to call it that. No, sorry, I've had 2. Whenever I went for sub 4 and got it, and then my last marathon, sub 3:30. Sorry, 2 marathons ago, sub 3:30. I need to let this wee woman sleep, so I'll catch you soon. So 4 miles today, nice and easy, keeping it quite close to my house. Don't have a lot of time anyway, but just want to enjoy these few miles. I hope the audio is okay in this, because there is a bit of a breeze. So, the first marathon I done, my legs were so sore afterwards. Like, 5-6 days later, I was still walking like John Wayne. Now, obviously my legs weren't used to it, but if you're so sore after a marathon, take the time to recover. I tried to run through it and I was in so much pain, so obviously that's not a good thing. The other thing
is nutrition. I had lost weight on the way up to the marathon, and then afterwards I just thought it was time to eat all around me. And do you know what? I put on, I wouldn't say loads of weight, but I regained some of the weight that I had lost, and that's never nice to see. Just down to like a month of really bad diet. So this time I'm determined not to let things slip, fall back into old habits. I have enjoyed myself this week, but I haven't went overboard. Do you know, I would say I have an evolving relationship with food. I've been very much the person in the past who ate through emotions, that just didn't really care what type of food I ate, and then got really disappointed when I put on loads of weight. And it wasn't until recently, well, in the last couple of years, where I really started thinking of food as fuel, and it was running that really helped me with that. So if you think about it from that point of view, after the marathon you really need to recover, and I've been concentrating this week on getting as much protein and healthy fats into my body as possible. I honestly believe that at this stage carbs are overrated and completely unnecessary, unless you're doing key speed sessions or fueling for a marathon. In recovery now, like, I'm just really ramping up the protein. I'm trying to eat 150 grams of protein a day, which is quite hard sometimes. Do you know the way I was saying earlier about learning fast? Well, there's a reason for that. It's because I make a lot of mistakes. I usually throw myself into something without thinking about it, and then I fail in some shape or form, and then, yeah, I think that's why I learn so fast.